Les Gold and his family were part of the hit show Hardcore Pawn, which saw great success in the 2010s. But once the show ended, it seemed like they all but completely disappeared, and no one really knows what they've been up to lately. So listen closely if you want to find out what Les and his family are actually doing these days. The show ran for a long 9 seasons and gave us a super interesting view into the pawn scene of Detroit, Michigan. But after Hardcore Pawn ended, Les pretty much went back to leading a completely private life. He doesn't really have a strong online presence, and although he's used the fame he got from the show to do some things, it's hard to figure out just exactly what he's been up to. We do know that since being on the show, he's become a popular television figure. He has even appeared on the Food Network's Chopped to display his kitchen skills. He also made an appearance on the show League One in the Spotlight, where he talked about his life and being on Hardcore Pawn. On top of being a general TV personality, he's also a New York Times bestselling author, as well as a motivational speaker, and he surprisingly has an incredible net worth of around $5 million these days, due to all his work with the pawn shops and his different TV appearances. Despite all this, it kind of looks like Les was never really all that interested in becoming famous. Nowadays, he's seemingly mostly just focusing on building up his business. Since Les is a third-generation broker and even considers himself the king of pawn, his business is really the most important thing to him. In 2019, he expressed how much he wished to open up more stores of American jewelry and loan, both in and out of Detroit. And when asked whether or not he was considering retirement, he said that he wasn't ready for that at all. Apparently, it had never even crossed his mind. What's amazing is that it seems like all of his hard work has actually paid off, since he ended up getting his wish. Les opened up 2 more locations of his store, one in Southgate and one in Lincoln Park, both cities in Wayne County in Michigan. And between all of his shops, he's also got around 200 employees that he now takes care of. Les is a big fan of helping and giving back to the community, and he apparently finds that his pawn shop actually makes a big impact. He has a very active presence at charity events that happen around Detroit on behalf of his company. In 2018, Les and his son Seth Gold actually contributed $10,000 to a pool of microloans, which would go to high school students aspiring to start their own businesses. They also supported the Thaw Fund, which aimed to help local people pay their heating and electricity bills. In 2013, Les hosted a Hardcore Thaw fundraising party during the after hours of his store, which collected more than $40,000 for the charity. The company has also hosted auction events for charities such as Wigs for Kids and Winning Futures over the years. And they've also provided internships for students at the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy. When talking about giving back, Les said that it was very important to give to young entrepreneurs because kids truly are our future. Apparently, Les also believes that expanding his business doesn't just help him, but it helps the community. His pawn shops allow customers to pawn all different kinds of items, and there's even an option for customers to safely store items for a fee. He also said his pawn shops are non-recourse lenders, which allows people to pawn items off without hurting their credit scores. In 2020, the FDIC reported about 7.1 million households in the United States do not have a bank account or a relationship with a bank where they can borrow money. And Les and his son Seth hope that American Jewelry and Loan can be a resource for those kinds of households. Seth said that the business is able to provide a resource to those people for them to be able to make ends meet. He also said that in the past, and still to this day, they see people coming in looking to make $50 just so they can put food on their table for their family that night. At the end of the day, Les and his son both feel like their shops are providing a real service to these people, and they feel that they're giving the community something that they might not have the opportunity to have if they were to go through a real bank. Both Les and Seth also agree that the show has been extremely beneficial to pawnbrokers all around the country, because the business became more accessible and more understanding through the success of the show. And when asked what the chances were of possibly seeing Hardcore Pawn back on TV again, Les said that he was actually very open to the idea. So who knows what could happen in the future. Despite the low profile that Les keeps, Seth actually frequently posts pictures of the two of them together on social media. And if it wasn't obvious, Seth is still a major part of the family business in Detroit, as he's the co-owner and vice president of the company. Ever since the show ended, he's been right by his father's side in running the company and helping to expand their locations. Specifically, he's been looking at new and innovative ways to make the businesses run and operate faster and easier. In 2019, Seth and his father launched Fast Pawn in association with PawnMate Inc., which was an online payment service. The idea was originally brought up by Seth and was created to help their customers make online payments, renew loans, or make layaway payments digitally. This was all done in an effort to simplify pawn operations and make things easier for their numerous employees. Seth also hosted a podcast named The Gold Tone Podcast with his father. On the podcast, he and Les would interview various celebrities from all different fields and talk about what they were doing. Overall, Les and Seth have clearly kept an extremely close relationship and have continued to work hard together to build the business up more and more. At the end of the day, it really seems like what the two of them care about the most is what they can do for their community and how they can grow. There's no doubt that they're passionate about the business that they're in, and they've clearly loved to see the amazing impact the show has had on their business. Seth even said that the show has brought people to them from all around the world. Surprisingly enough, he even said their show was strangely popular in Italy, Turkey, and India. So he said a lot of people from these countries, or just from outside of the United States in general, actually come to see them, which he said is really exciting because it gives the these people the opportunity to check out the surrounding area and be part of the tourism. And if they're bringing people into the city, that's just another way that they're able to give back to their community and continue to be a staple business in Detroit. The show has clearly had an amazing impact on Les and Seth, as well as their community. The two of them are definitely grateful for what it's been able to do for them, and they want to continue to work hard and do what they do best. And who knows, since they are open to it, we might get to see them on TV again at some point. But anyway, what do you guys think about all this? Did you know that Hardcore Pawn was so popular in other countries? What are your thoughts on Les and his son Seth using their business to help their community? Let me know in the comments below.